Good morning, it's Tuesday, March 3rd, and today is light hanging day. So you can see I've taken and I've put up a bunch of hangers here. There's going to be a total of 8 hangers holding that light. 2 on each side, so 2, 4, 6, 8 hangers. I've got some heavy duty ones and I've got some light ones, but 8 hangers should be plenty. Even if they were just light ones, probably to hang that light. And of course I'll be reusing these hangers that are currently holding this light. This light is going to be taken down today, and the big one's going to be put up. This is going to be awesome. Wait till you see this thing up there. It is going to be just a fantastic light. I'm really looking forward to seeing that thing. When it's on, it's going to be kind of blinding, so prepare yourself. So something else you're going to need is a calendar. So here's our calendar for March, and today is Tuesday, and you see we're going to 12 and 12. It's going to produce hairs, or it's going to produce balls, and we'll be able to tell who's who, and then we'll be able to pick the best 9 females out of the number. Hopefully we get, a lot to choose from, 12 or more females, and we will select the best ones to put on the table. Okay, so the first order of business before we hang the big light is get everything off the table. That means the plants are going to have to be moved out of the way. This light's going to have to be taken down, and the hangers that are on that light are going to have to be added to the others, so that we have 2, 4, 6, 8 hangers to hang that light. Okay, before we start moving lights and whatnot, first thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and give them a little feed. There's a little bit of water out of our little reservoir. Everybody gets a little shot. And then after that, we'll move the plants. So just a little prep work in advance. We're going to use the same sticks that were propping that light up out there in the rec room. In the office, sorry, and we're going to use it to sit there, and then we're going to attach all these hangers. Okay, let's go get that light.
Okay, so that end has to go in first.
Okay. Okay, and we can do up and in. Bottom first.
Okay, watch that fan.
Very carefully.
Yeah.
You got it? You want it?
Yeah, I got it.
And they need you to come over around to that side.
Okay. All right.
Get that right over there. Yeah, just slowly. Right down. These guys down to where the frame is. So you get in that one too.
That's.
There you go. That's it. Okay. Now we have to take these off. Put them on the sides. Okay.
I've only got one like that.
Right, so one's going to go here, and the other one's going to go on there. So see how this one's just the outside of that? You're going to unloop it there and hang it over on the end.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, and then this goes metal part on the outside. So each loop will have 2.
You wanted it on the outside or the inside?
I don't know if it matters that much, as long as it's hooked on. Okay, so that's 2. And this one.
Just do both at the same time.
Touch that. these out of the way.
Yeah, I think so. You stand here and look. I think that's better. That's pretty straight.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Okay, so lights all hung up and ready to go. Just gotta plug her into the timer and see how she works. Wow, now that's some light right there. Yeah, everything's lit up just like the sun, and that's what we're trying to reproduce is sunlight, so that's awesome. Well, we've got everything back into place, got our little cooler reservoir up, we got the plant sitting in the middle. This is turned down, this has got a controller on here, and you can see we can make the settings whatever we want. Right now we've got it on about, probably about 50%, so that's only like half brightness right there, so you can imagine when we're in flower and we turn it up to 100, it's going to be a lot of light. So fans back on, everybody's doing the hula again, which is really good for stem hardiness. And that's it for Tuesday, March 3rd. It's Thursday, March 5th, and just doing a little bit of prep work. I've found a digital timer, got it all set and ready to go. That's going to have the actual pump plugged into it, and it's going to go off 3 times a day. So that's all set and ready to go. Just gave the plants a little bit of water. They're doing quite nicely. What we'll do is we will identify the best looking females, and we will segregate 9 of those best looking females. Then we are going to take another pot, and the pot that the plant is in is going to go inside a second pot, because these pots are a little shorter. It's just going to raise it up flush with the edge. So there's going to be a little bit of cocoa in the bottom of that pot. This is going to sit down kind of on top of it, and we're going to make it nice and flush with the edge, so that when we put the lay flat on, the lay flat doesn't pucker down, and start to make little divots like that. So we don't want that to happen. We want it to sit on the bottom and even. In fact, I think I prefer to go right up even with this, because that's where the lay flat's going to be. And water condition is good. Good numbers there, and I just did do a little bit of water, and as I said, we still have enough water to do a few more waters, but we're getting real close to the time where we're going to actually put these things onto the table. The last time we did an ebb and flow table, as I said, we probably did some things wrong there too, because they were up pretty high. I think it was also the sexing process, but they were up pretty high by the time we put them on the table, and by the time they were finished, they were like 3 feet tall, and we just don't want them getting that tall on this table. So we're going to get these going earlier, and not wait until they're so tall that they're going to be crowding the light. So there you go. We'll put that much cocoa in the bottom one. See, it raises the pot up this much, and if you look over here, that's flush with the top of the table. The lay flat's going to come right up to that, and then there'll be a hole cut in a circle, and that's where the pot will be. Okay, so that'll be all for Thursday, March 5th. I've done, quite a bit of preliminary work. We still got ways to go here. Right now, I think we're just kind of in hurry up and wait mode, because being on 12 and 12, it's probably going to take these plants a week or so, maybe 10 days, to actually start to show hairs and balls. And at that point, once they start to show the hairs and balls, we can select the best females. We only need 9, again, only 9. So once we know who's female and who's male, we will just turf the males, and what's left of the females, we will take the 9 best, and those will be our plants that we will put in those basket pots, stacked one on top of the other, so that they're nice and flush with the top of the table. And when we put the lay flat on, we just cut the circle right around the pot. Good morning, Friday, March 6th. Just gave everybody a little bit of water. Everybody's looking fantastic. Again, we're just leaving this on 12 and 12 and letting them go. Once we know who's female and who's male, we'll select the best ones as we discussed and put them in their appropriate locations on the table, and then put the black and white lay flat on the top. But today's job is to clean this cooler. I mean, we're using this cooler as a temporary reservoir for feeding the plants and whatnot. We will be switching to the big reservoir soon, but not yet. So what I'm going to do is, you can see there's a lot of crud in there. I'm going to take this cooler into the shower. I've got a hose hooked up in there in the bathroom, and I'm going to give it a good cleaning, then come back out here, refill it, and put new food in it and all of that. So here we go. So just keep the probes hydrated, especially the pH probe needs to be hydrated. I've just made a little space in this one cup, put some water in there. I'm just going to dangle those down in there while I take this into the shower and clean it up. Okay, so that'll hold those for a while, and off we go to the shower. So because we've got this hooked up to the tap here, I've got access to cold water and hot water. So when it comes to cleaning, it's nice to have some hot water. So let's get that on. Not too hot, but just, you know, warm. Let's see how that goes. And here comes the water. Just let that run for a bit, see how it feels. Right now it's running cold. We'll let that warm water. So the cooler's all clean, ready to go. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fill it here while it's in the shower, rather than dragging the hose back into the room again and filling it there. Just kind of makes sense, right? Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty good temperature. It's kind of lukewarm, a little on the cool side of lukewarm, which is just about perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and start filling a little cooler. Okay, I think that should do it. I'm going to turn off the water now. There we go. Good to go. Okay, so cooler's full. We've got the bubblers going. We've got the probes in there, and the probes are reading the water. So let's see what the water is right out of the tap, through the buggy filter, and then into the cooler. Because straight out of the tap versus through the buggy filter, I think we're going to see it's going to make a big difference. And here we go. So ppms, right out of the tap, we were measuring around 720, and now look where we are, 130. So 130 is pretty good. That took out a lot of stuff out of the tap water that didn't need to be there. And the lower that number to start with, the better the reading is on the nutrient when you read that. Temperature, 68, I think I nailed that. That's a good temperature. Right now, we just got to work on the pH. But before we do anything to adjust the pH, we have to put some nutrient in there, because that will bring the pH down. Put 4 milliliters of A, now 4 milliliters of B. Let's just have a look and see what that does to our EC and pH. Let's follow me over here. Okay, so pH 7.2, ppms 7.1. So you can see it's slowly adjusting. The pH is going down and the EC is going up. So let's just give it a few minutes to settle where it's going to settle. Okay, it looks like we're still a little low on the EC, and the pH is down to 7. Appears to be stabilizing here. So when you start with water that's been run through that boogie filter versus water that's just straight out of the tap, it is obviously making a huge difference in the amount of nutrient that it takes and what effect it has on the pH. So I'm going to keep adding nutrient until I get that up to about 900 or so, even 1,000, because we had 100 and change to start with. So yeah, I'm going to say 700 or 800, and that should do it. Okay, so you can see ppms are rising, and the pH is dropping, so it's doing what I expected it to do. It is taking a little more nutrient than I thought it would, but that's okay. Conductivity is conductivity, so somewhere in the 800 to 900 range would probably be good for plants, you know, in pots that size. We'll up that when we get going and actually have them on the table and under the plastic and whatnot. Okay, so that got it up to 850, you know, minus what was in there before, 130. So we're at about 720. I think 720 is a good number, you know, for plants in small pots and just getting them started. That 6.2 is a little high, so I'm going to add a little bit of pH down until we get down to about, I don't know, around 5.7 or so. A little pH down. There we go. Let's see what that does. So obviously went a little bit too low, but fortunately I've got some of this pH up. It's just hydrogen peroxide. And I think I mentioned before that you'll put this in, it'll raise your pH, and then it evaporates away, which is a good thing. Okay, and the hydrogen peroxide is doing its job. Up to 5.6, that's almost perfect. If it would just bump up one more notch, I'd be really happy, but 5.5 to 5.8 is pretty good. 5.6 is acceptable, and I'm going to leave it right there. So we got about, a little over 700 ppms. We're up to 5.7 on the pH, perfect, and the temperature is 68 degrees. Everything's awesome. So the last thing I'm going to mention for today is that this will be the last time we use the cooler. There's sufficient water in there to get these to where they need to be. Basically what they need to be is showing their sex. So we will keep using this water, keep watering these plants. They'll continue to grow. Once we see hairs and balls, then it comes down to the selection process of which are the best looking females. Okay, so that's it for today. We're all done. It's Tuesday, March 10th, and just having a look at the plants. Gonna give them a little water and just gonna give them a general overall look. Everybody's looking really healthy. They've gone into their pre-flowering growth spurt. You can see they've grown a lot since the last time, so I really have had to separate them out and spread them out so that everybody gets nice, good adequate light down to help these lower branches, like the ones down here. You want those to grow, and I don't want to have to top them to make them grow. So that still could be a thing, but we'll keep that in our back pocket. In the meantime, it's time to do a little bit of watering. It's probably going to be 3 or 4 more days before we actually start seeing hairs and balls. So we're just going to be patient and wait. In the meantime, I got the water out, good to go. Everything is all balanced. We're at 900 ppm, 68 degrees, and a 5.6 pH, and that's all good numbers right there. So let's get down to watering. Just give you the once around just to see how everybody's looking from the other side. You can see very, very nice. Really happy with the way these are growing. And that's it for today. Good morning. It's Sunday, March 15th, and we're just going to have a little check to see how things are going. It's been a while since the last time I took any footage, but you can see there's things going on right now, like males are showing. So that's like definitely a male right there. That's looking like a male right there. You can see the little balls. The ones that aren't showing any balls are potential females. So females usually do put out their hairs, after males and put out balls. Males usually go first. So let's just see what's going on here. Obviously they're getting dry. They're sucking up a lot more water now, so I have to give them more water. Now there's your classic male right there. You can see those balls right there. So that's a big time male right there. So I'm going to segregate out the males. They'll no longer be taking any water, which will leave more water for the females. So first order of business is to get some of these males out of here. So this one is Gonzo, definitely a male. So I'll just go around, get rid of those, and then we'll do a little watering. Things are looking pretty good in our little cooler reservoir. 5.8 pH is nice. 66 is a little bit cool. I wouldn't want to, preferably not put 66 degree water on probably 70 degree soil. So I have some water put out that's been sitting out, and it's come to room temperature. So if room temperature right now is 73 degrees, I can see it over there. So this water is probably at least 70 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and water. Okay, and I think we are seeing our first hairs. Let's zoom in on this plant, and I'll show you what I mean. And then you can see it. Let me see. There you go. those are hairs. So this is definitely a female. Isn't that nice? First hairs. Way to go. So current conditions are pretty good. 73.4 degrees, 50% relative humidity. Those are very good conditions. Do we get any more hairs here? Any balls? I'm not sure if that's a male or not. We'll let that one go a little bit longer. What do we got here? That one's also looking a little malish. Yeah. So probably a couple more days before the females start to show. Okay, so that's it for March 15th. Seems like a slow process, but we're getting there gradually. Got rid of a bunch of males. So that opens things up a little more and lets a little more light get down to the females that are acknowledged females and the others which are potential females. And we just got to play it by ear from here. Keep looking for those hairs. All we need is 9. Just 9. Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 17th, and we got plants that are starting to flower. Unfortunately, a large percentage of them are male. So let's have a look. So we've got, so you can tell these are males. I mean, there's balls, okay, everywhere. Balls. So some of these nicest plants are all male. And what we have left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hopefully 9 are going to be female. And it looks like I have found some hairs on some. So it's looking good. I think we might get our 9. But it's a bit touch and go. I've never seen such a large male to female ratio. We do have 9 decent looking plants, and I believe they're all female, and 9 is the number we're looking for. So keep your fingers crossed, and let's hope that these all stay female. And this is what I mean by clumping, so you can see it's starting to set hairs up at the top there, and it's going to clump up and make a nice big bud. Yay! And the last thing to do for today is refill the little cooler reservoir here. Of course, that does change all the settings. And see, we're at 450 ppm, water 66 degrees, and 6.5 pH. So we're going to have to add a little food in there, get that up closer to say 800 ppms, and get that pH down to about 5.6 or 5.7 in that neighborhood. 5.7 would be a good number, I think. And of course, that 66 will rise a little bit just from the temperature in this room, which is right now is at 74.7. So overnight, that water should come up in temperature just a little bit. I put nutrients in the res, put some pH down in the res, and here's may have overshot it a little bit on the pH. So 4.5 is low, so I will add some more. Some more pH up, and get that back up to around 5.6, 5.7. 890 is a good number on the conductivity. You're taking away that 130 or so that's in the water already when it comes through. So 760 or so is a good number. 66 is going to go up in temperature, and I'm now going to raise that 4.5 up to 5.6, 5.7 around there. So there's our H2O2, our pH up. I'll just take, I think 4 might be a little much. Just add a little bit at a time until we see what happens to the pH. So let's just put a few drops in there. See how that goes. And you can see her rising. And it looks like we still got a little ways to go. Give it a little stir. Just to make sure it's all nice and evenly distributed. Now let's check it and see where we're at. Well, 5.3, 5.4. Come on, baby. Looks like we may be 5.5, just about there. 5.6. Come on, I just want you to flash to 5.7. Come on, do it for me. And no, it's not going to do it, so a couple more drops. And there we go, that's some good numbers right there. So the 900 less the 130 out of the tap leaves us at 700 and change, which is good. And 5.7 is perfect. So I think we got everything just the way we want it and ready to move forward. This will probably be, I'm hoping this will be the last time we fill this cooler because all these are turning female, and it looks like we're going to get the 9, fingers crossed, and we're going to get the 9 that we need. And then once we get those 9, we will then put them on the table, cover it with plastic, and then we'll be filling this reservoir and using the pump and doing our flood and drain. And I can't wait for that to start happening. And that is it for March 17th. So let's call it a wrap. Off we go. And we'll continue to wait. It's Wednesday, March 18th, and things are moving right along. Lots of hairs showing. We have 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plants that appear to be female, and thank goodness, because we started out with 24 plants, and we had so many males. I mean, just all the rest were males. So basically was 16, 17 males and 9 females, it appears, and crossing the fingers that there's like 1 or 2 that haven't shown hairs, but if they were males, they'd be showing balls right now. So I'm counting on those being females. And we have 1 runt to spare, if we need it. So things are looking good. It's a little bit iffy, but I think we're going to make it. Checking conditions, 72.7 degrees, 40%. That's pretty good. Checked our conductivity, 890 minus the 130. That's 760. That's not bad. Temperature of the water is a little bit cool. pH is fine at 5.8, so we're good to go as far as watering goes. Well, that's it for March 18th, so we'll be back tomorrow. So Thursday, March 19th, and big day today. The last remaining holdout has finally put out a hair, so we do indeed have 9 females, and that's just perfect. That was exactly what I asked for right from the beginning. And you're thinking, 24, you start out with 24 plants, and you put them into flower, and you just expect that, yeah, you're going to get some males, but you don't expect it to be that many males. So fortunately we got the 9 that we need, and I'm just so happy to say that right now. And we got 1 little weakling down there, and that one hasn't shown anything and is not going anywhere, so it's going bye-bye. In the meantime, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get lay flat on there, and I'm going to cut holes for the pots. And you can see I've got 1 pot here, and it's nice and level with the edge of the table. So I'm looking at that much cocoa in the bottom, and you can see it's just above that bar on the that circles around in the pot there. So just above that is how far I'm going to fill them. Then I'm going to put an empty pot in, and then I'm going to position these in the appropriate locations, 3 by 3, so for 9. So I'm going to get busy starting that, and I'll update you as I go. So there you go, 9 pots, nice and level with the top of the tray. So when I put the lay flat on, it'll be just the right height to get this thing in on top. And I want to try to leave the rim on top of the lay flat so that it helps it to stay in place. But in the meantime, I'm going to have to move all of these ladies out of the way and make room for making an arrangement with the pots. Then I will come back and put the lay flat on, and then I will just go around with a razor blade, and I'm just going to cut out a hole that's the size of the inside of here. So I'll just be following that around with a razor blade, and then taking that piece of plastic out, and then I will put the bottom one in, and then after I've got the lay flat positioned for where it's going to be forever, then I will come along and put the transplanted plants. These are already in pots, so I don't have to transplant these, but all these have to be transplanted into a basket pot. So all of these basket pots are going to have, well, all but 3 are going to have transplants from the cup. So a shop vac is the only way to go here. Clean. Always clean. And the pots are all in their positions right now, so time to put the lay flat on, clip it down, and cut some holes. So positioning this thing is not an easy thing to do. Because we live in the middle of nowhere, we really don't have a hydroponics store close by, so we're having to use what we have. And what we had was a bunch of strips of black and white plastic. I think I showed you to those earlier. And pieced them all together, taped them all together, and now it's like trying to position it on the table. I've got it just about flat. It's hard to do because it's not exactly square because it's all these pieces. But in the meantime, it seems to be working out. I've got 3 holes cut so far. I've got 3 more to do in the middle, 3 more on the end, and then all I've got to do then is open it up on one side, take the top pot out, and get these all potted up and ready to go into the place of the one that's just really a placeholder that's in there right now. Okay, well that's the first part done. We got all the holes cut. Now, what we have to do is, we've got 2 over here that are already in basket pots, so obviously they don't need to be transplanted. So what I will do is, there are actually 2 pots in each one. I'll just take the top pot out, slide that one in. But before I can do the rest of these, I have to get these into those. So there's the first transplant right there. So it's good to go. So I'm just doing a bit of a visual inspection on the roots as I do transplant these, and you can see they are ready to be transplanted, and the roots are looking good actually, nice and healthy. That's a good sign. And I'm just going ahead and putting these right on the table, and I'm just going to water them right in place. If any water drips out the bottom, it'll pop in the tray, and it's not a big deal. So that's a couple done. Everybody's transplanted and ready to go. So we're back to plugging them in. So transplanting is a dirty job. You know, COCO fiber, it just seems to get everywhere. I got the shop back out. Never leave things dirty. Always clean, clean, clean. You're just inviting pathogens otherwise, and it's just best practices. So yeah, always clean up after yourself. And everybody's plugged in and looking good. I must say the holes are fitting nicely. The rim is on the top, and that covers any potential, you know, if there's any cracks under here, no light's going to get down in there because roots don't like lights. So that little flange on the top of the pot's going to actually prevent that light from getting down in there. Everything's evenly spaced out. I think these are going to do awesome. They're already looking like they're happy, but they're going to be happier even still, because the first thing you do after you transplant is always water them in. So this is all fresh soil on older soil that was in a cup. We're going to water them in. So I'm just going to take some water out of the cooler, which is already, you know, set and ready to go, and I'm going to water these in. So you were used to me taking a cup of water and kind of spreading it around, but now we're talking about a whole cup of water per plant. So yeah, we're just going to keep pouring that in there. This is what you call watering in after transplant, and it is an essential part of transplant. And there you go, like a whole cup of water. And that really is it for March 19th. Looking good, everybody plugged in, everybody watered, everybody happy. Cooler goes tomorrow, and first thing in the morning we're going to fill this res. Deb's going to give me a hand, and we're going to get all the nutrients, flood and drain. I'm thinking probably 3 times a day, so it'll be when the lights come on, we'll get a flood, and that'll drain. And then midway through, or maybe not midway through, maybe a third of the way through, another flood, and then maybe 2 or 3 hours before lights out, one last flood. You don't want to flood right before lights off. It's just kind of not good practice. So we'll give it, 2 or 3 hours before lights off for the last flood. But again, Deb will be consulting me on that tomorrow. and jointly we will decide exactly what the appropriate number of floods and when they are going to be. So one thing before we go, Deb is going to help me put up the trellis. So we're going to pick a place, I'm thinking probably around here or here, where the trellis is going to go. And the plants are going to go up through the trellis, and then when they get near the end and the buds are all big and heavy, which you know they're going to be, they're not going to start, falling over and stuff like that. The trellis just keeps them up straight. Good morning, it's Friday, March 20th, and it's time to do the res. Got Deb here to help me do this today, and plants are looking like they're enjoying their new home just fine. Got the trellis netting up here so that when they get a little taller, they're going to have something to hold them up. So let's get busy. Let's start filling the res and get her done. So we got those all stretched out. Boogie filters in place, and we're ready to fill the res. Okay, so let's get her going. Just touch it warm in there too. Okay, res is filling. Let's see how the temperature is. That's actually really warm. Maybe turn that warm down just a touch. And Deb's just shaking up the nutrients, getting them ready. We're going to put the appropriate amount of the A and B COCO in. So right now we're just going to do 400 milliliters of A and B COCO. And we're going to save the PK 1314 and the boost for a little bit later on. So we're just going to throw in a little rhizotonic right now just to help the roots get kick-started, and that's the most important thing right now. We'll get busy on the other things like the boost and the PK 1314 at the appropriate time, which is a little bit later on. It's Saturday, March 21st, and we're here to see the first flood. Okay, so this is our first flood. We have to get this thing adjusted just right. So we have to pull this out at the appropriate time and get it to start draining. It's going, not quite yet. See if it up on the mushroom siphon valve. Is it on the stick to the first floor on the basket pots? Okay, so what do you think when it gets to the band? See on the basket pot? Look at which one. See the band on the basket pot? When it gets to there, do you think?
I would say even to the bottom of the other pot. Halfway up.
Halfway up the pot?
Yeah, to the bottom of the other pot. When it's...
So we're about...
We're
We're approaching, we're past halfway up the siphon valve. The mushroom siphon valve. Okay, put it on your book now. So I don't think it's going to get up that high. And we have success. Water is running out and going in. Looks like everything's set pretty good. So while the flood continues, let's just have a little look around at everybody. See how they're all doing. Looking good. I mean, got some nice clumping on the top. This is our lone plant. Am I seeing hairs? Yes, I am seeing a hair. Let's see if we can get in there and see that with the camera. Yep, there's the hair right there. Perfect. So now we know for sure that one is female. We're all good. And I believe the pump is shut off. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do for March 21st, which is first day of spring, by the way, is to try to see if I can get this trellis netting just just a little bit stiffer here. It's kind of saggy in the center, and that means it's a little bit slack. Plants are going to kind of move around a little more than I would like them to. So I'm just going to see if I can stiffen that up. I'm going to put a piece of string across from the poles from there to there, and also from this side, from where just under the fan there, and over to this pole. And then I'll have maybe 3 strings going across, and just kind of snugging this up a little, not a lot, just a little bit. Yeah, so there's 1 string in, so you can see it's right at level with the trellis. So I can just kind of pull that back. Okay, so we got this side tied up. You can see where I'm going with this. It's already looking flatter and nicely spread out. Just going to do this side and even things out. Well, it's looking better already. Look at that, nice and flat, no sagging. Got little ends to cut off there, and we're good to go. And that's it for March 21st. Everything's looking hunky-dory. These plants are just grown like gangbusters. It won't be long before they start going through the trellis, and of course by the time they get up to there, they're going to be starting to form some pretty nice buds. I'm hoping that, you know, they don't get too much higher than about maybe halfway between the trellis netting and the light. You know, somewhere in between those two would be a nice place for them to kind of stop and then start to fatten up.